Great day, great day, great day. Today's date is Saturday, the 14th of February, 2026. And I am your host, Avok, Voice of Consciousness, here with another, another edition of Get Your It Together Live 2.1. And we are here to celebrate life, which is love, and that's every day. And so the topic today is myopia, a type of tunnel vision, if you will, single-minded aspects of sight, being only able to focus on something close up, or it could be far away, but it's blurred. The vision is blurred. So when we speak to myopia in this context, as far as being, um, it has to speak to the lack of vision or the inability to see. Um, and so my speaking to it is in more to being able to see with your first eye, not the third eye. See, again, everything that we've been given, we have to turn it on its head 180 degrees. That's your first eye. What is called the third eye is the first eye of sight. And it sees and you see long before you come into the womb. That let's make that clear. So your first sight, the first inkling of sight, you've had sight or you have sight or you can see prior to the physical sight. So myopia is the inability to discern, to be able to see with your first eye in knowing what it is that you are to do, say how you are to be, what that's already innate. You have that ability already. No one has to train you, no one has to nurture your skills. It's just a matter of you deciding that you want to know. It's a matter of you deciding or being curious enough to have an adventure with yourself, to find where, who, what, how. As a child, I used to question how I fit into everything. As a child, I used to question how I fit into everything. And I didn't ask it of people, my mother, my father. I didn't ask them. I found myself asking those questions in the solitude when I was by myself, when I was out about looking up at the stars, when I was daydreaming. And it became not only a fascination, but a determined mindset to want to know. The curiosity started to burn. I started to feel like, hey, and it never dawned on me. I never thought to ask people. It was never a consideration to want to know from somebody else's perspective. I wasn't thinking like that at the time, but I recall not asking, and because of what I know now, it was the spirit in me knowing that you're not going to get this from other people, and if you do, you're going to get their perspective of it, because everybody has a perspective. And when you have your coding, your encryption alive in you, because that's what we all do for those of us who have a burning desire to want to know, you have encoded and you have to, and it's encrypted data that you will, when the time is right, you will decrypt and uh, encode. You will seek to have um, the information will be provided. And it's only with the level of experience that you have to balance out with the encoded, encrypted information. When you have a heightened level of desire to want to know bad enough to where you're doing the internal shadow work, you're not going to get it from reading the book. I'm telling you what I know. You can get concepts, and guess what? They're concepts of other people. They're not yours. So you can take somebody else's concept and maybe become inspired to do something, to want to have something, what have you, whatever the case may be. But you're not going to get your true specific fingerprint. See, everything and everyone, it has a resonant frequency. Everything and everyone has a resonant frequency. All light is encoded, coded data. And you are light. You are encoded, and everything, all colors have frequencies. They resonate at a vibratory frequency. Everything. So if you think that somebody can give you code for you or decrypt, or you get a psychotherapist or you get a psychologist and they say, well, how do you feel? Well, how does that make you feel? And so these questions they pose to you, and as you answer, they analyze the data that they retrieve from you, and they give you a conclusion, or they give you a synopsis, or they give you what they may say, quote unquote, their theory on what's going on with you. However, until you do the shadow work, baby, you have to go in the darkness alone. It's not something that you can do with a group. Now, it doesn't hurt once you've done that and you have a whole, some type of basic foundational understanding of yourself, then it's okay to come in with a group, because now you can come in, sit at the table, and you have something that you can offer because you've got the experience that commensurates with the awareness that you've ventured into, because this is an adventure. This is not like a destination. The road traveled is not a destination seeking to get to a place. You're never going to get to the place. It's always ongoing. This is an eternal, infinitely eternal cycle of divinity. It's never going to end. Therefore, it never was a beginning. It just is. And that's the concept that men have not been able to grasp. They're looking for the ends of the universe, and they're trying to find the Big Bang. It started here, and they've anthropomorphic deities that's been created, God or gods, and there are many, but they all have the characteristics of being a material being, and that we are not. Let me say that again. We are not material beings. We may express ourselves through a material plane, third dimensional plane. However, we're non-local, meaning just like the movie Avatar, those beings moving about in the arena that they were in or in the environment that they were in were somewhere off site, appearing to be having a dream kind of thing, or living their dream in the reality of that environment. But they were in a suit, or they needed a suit, while the people there in that environment didn't need the suit because they weren't avatars. They were functioning as themselves in the environment that was suited for them. Well, guess what? That's what we are. All environments suit us. Energy, frequency, and vibration knows no boundaries. So it can function and move about freely on any level, anywhere, at any time, unless you decide you like the environment that you're in, and you put on the shrouding, or put on the wear the clothing necessary to keep you in that vibrational frequency to support staying there. If you align yourself with the true nature of your spirit, of what and who you already are, then you're just passing through. You're just visiting. This is not your place to stay. It's your place to enjoy. This is about enjoying and finding or remembering yourself, not finding, because you already are here. There's nothing to find. You don't need to find yourself. Reinvent you can reinvent. You mean remember? Remember, not reinvent, but remember yourself. That's what we're doing. It's not about, being the best and doing the best you can is not about reinvention. You've not been created. There's those that's been created, that's their vernacular. So the myopia, the having the tunnel vision type thing, or only seeing what's in front of you and everything else is blurred out, and you're not focused on anything other than what is being presented to you, because that's how it's been done for years, eons of time. People can't seem to multitask on the ethereal level because they don't know that they are etheric, that they are more than. They get scoped. It's like the magician showing you the left hand, but you don't see what's going on in the right hand. So, or showing you the right hand and you don't see what's going on in the left. So the left don't know what the right is doing. That kind of thing. That's how you've been conditioned and programmed. See, this is an indoctrination process, and it's broken now. The process has been broken. Because the season is over. See, that's the other side of it. It's kind of like when the sun comes out, then there's no longer darkness. Or when the rain comes, the sun is gone. Depending on where you are, certain places it rains and sun shines at the same time, and that's kind of crazy. However, it's no way to define your divine essence, the divine presence that you already are. You're indefinable. However, you've allowed yourself to be distinctively put into a box, or systematically conditioned yourself, or systematically been conditioned to incarcerate yourself. It's a programming process that conditions and processes through your awareness based on what you think you are. based on what's been projected to you to think that you are, rather than you exploring and taking time out to know who you are. You accepted what somebody else has said, or somebody else has told you that you are, or you're just being, you're human. Well, human means what? Human, Hue is color. See, even in the terms that you're given, there's still divinity is the coding. If you can see with your first eye, you can define and acknowledge and understand and change what it is you're being given to assist and put you on notice, to give you what it is or what it takes to remember. That's what happens, and we're so caught up in one way or one thing or one aspect or one perspective or one definition when there's a gazillion. And it just is a matter of what works for you. Now, I don't care nothing about, the history is already in me. It's in my DNA. They say 95% of your DNA is junk. That's because they can't determine, decipher, decode, and encrypt the information. And it doesn't turn on until it's necessary. It doesn't activate until it's time. It is laying dormant for a reason. And the memory and the desire of the individual, per se, host, it's on you. It's on you. It's a question of what you want to do. And I'm not interested in trying to make you know something, or compare my idea, and let's debate. Debate what? There's no debate when I know what I know, and how I can prove I know it is because I'm here saying it. The proof is in the pudding, so to speak. I'm in the present, right here, right now, saying what I'm saying, and it resonates to those who understand. It's not going to fit and resonate with everybody. Why? Because it's not for everybody. Everybody don't like everything. Everybody don't do everything. Everything's available. Everything is abundance. Everything is abundant, but everything is not for everybody, and everybody don't want the same things at the same time. Maybe later they'll want it. Maybe they have an inkling for it. They feel it. But everything is not about, oh, that's not important because I'm not interested. That might not be important to you, but it's important to somebody. And for right now, what I'm saying, what I'm doing right now is important to me. It doesn't matter if somebody else likes it, doesn't like it, want to get with it, want to follow, want to take clickbait. No, I could care less. That ain't my goal. That's on you. If you want to do that, that's on you. If you want to take on this, that's on you. Because I'm not doing this for you. See, I'm doing this for me. And the thing is, we're so caught up in thinking we're doing something for somebody. That's the ego. A lot of it's all ego. Everything is ego-based, matter of fact. When you have to concern yourself with what someone thinks and how someone feels about what you're doing or not doing, or what you should, or if you're following the standards that somebody that has no standards. So we are being given standards by an entity that has no standards. If you look at the legacy of that which has, as I'm saying, has no standards, when you look at that, there's no, why do I need to follow that? Why would I want to? If that's not going to produce or bring about the best in me, to align me with the best that I already am, why would I care about that? Why would I put myself in a position to make sure that I align myself with some foreign entities that don't mean me no good, never have, and never will, because that's not their role. See, their role is to be there. There's a position that everyone plays. Everyone plays a position. Everyone has a part. Everyone does their part in their position, and sometimes they do damn well. They do really good, and so it's okay. It's not a bad thing. It's just how badly do you want what it is that you are already? Meaning, how bad do you want to align yourself with what's already there? That's where we're at. And so the true nature of your sight comes into focus or comes into view or comes to fruition when you genuinely, authentically align yourself with the true nature of what you already are. And that's divinity. Who I am is divine. What I am is divinity in motion. Who I am is divine. What I am is divinity in motion. That's it. That's all, and that's in the nutshell of it all. Who I am is divine. What I am is divinity in motion. And that encompasses and encapsulates all aspects of you. Because the motion or the emotion is what connects you, or what you attach yourself to. That the emotion is what you attach yourself to. You attach yourself in such a way that creates this bond with the physicality of it. And that connects the bond of the consciousness of it, which then goes into you like a spider's web and connects every living piece or part of tissue and cell, and everything connects to that. Everything is connected with the breath you take and everything. So now you have to be cognizant of what it is you're actually experiencing, and your experiences come from your sight, how you see. Because what you see, how you see, the way you see a thing is the type of experience you're going to have. If you're limited in your scope of understanding, understanding, and overstanding of anything, your perspective is going to be limited because you can't see beyond the veil. So there's been a veil and it's now lifted. However, many are still imagining a veil. Why? Because they don't know what it's like not to have one. So it takes you to remember what it was like before shrouded in blindness. And then take that understanding, understanding, overstanding of a perspective. Your perspective is an angle of light. So you take that and move through the darkness of yourself. But that means you got to be honest. You got to be sincere about it. You got to genuinely be authentic with yourself. You have to be truthful with yourself, with what you're uncovering. And whether you like it or not, accept the truth of that reality of what it is or was, and seek to resolve that. Because if you want to keep sweeping it under the rug and acting like it didn't exist or didn't happen, or we ain't gonna deal with that right now, or that continues to keep you out of focus. So you tend not, if you practice deception or practice deceit or practice trying to fool yourself, You're not fooling yourself, but what you are doing is taking yourself away from the level by which you may understand your own truth. You keep yourself farther away from knowing yourself. The more you initiate, um, the more you initiate uh, interfering with the natural organic process. There's an endogenous process within you already that's working all of the time. And if you continually, intentionally force um, force yourself to deny, repress, depress, compress, and keep that on lockdown, all you're doing is supporting the indoctrination that you've been um, forced to endure. Well, I won't say forced to endure because everything is divine, so everything is the reason for it being. So, however, when the season comes, it's just like wintertime, you wear winter clothes. Summertime come, you take that stuff off and maybe go to the beach or so. Depending on the environment, you adorn yourself with the necessary clothing, tools, whatever is needed for that environment. We're in another environment, family. We're in another environment. And so you have to put on or wear that which is necessary for the environment that you're in. If you need to breathe and this is the environment that it requires you to put on a breathing mask, then you put on a breathing mask. But whatever the case may be, you have to adapt to where we are, not where we were, not what we used to do, not what it used to be. Because again, if there's no discernment in your walk, if you don't have a clue as to what's going on, if you don't know yourself enough to accept the truth and allow it to flow through you, whatever your truth is, your truth might not be my truth. What is happening for you may not work for me. How it works for you may not work for me. And vice versa. It doesn't make it wrong. What it makes it is yours. And that's what we have to get comfortable with. We have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And the reason is because we have been comfortable for too long. And that comfortability has allowed us, to be a little complacent maybe, or kind of take stuff for granted, or completely forget that you're divine. Divinity has no boundaries. There's no limits. It's not saying you're going to go out and kill and do it. That's not in you. Listen, when Columbus and them boys came over on the boat, they were welcomed. That's not our nature. But however, that was an entity and an energy that had the nature of an opposition, of opposite nature. It's the same thing. That's the legacy. We have to understand and know energy, frequency, and vibration. There are energies that's low frequency. There are energies that are medium or high frequency. They're not the same. However, they are energy, frequency, and vibration. It's the same substance elements. They may not have the same effect. Depends on the individual. If you're thinking always negative, you're going to attract negativity. If you're always doing things that you're unhappy about, you're going to keep yourself unhappy. It's as simple as a choice, and then applying. See, and that's what is not, because there's no number attached to it or a dollar sign or some reward in instant gratification associated with it, we don't want to hold many. I won't say we because I'm not a part of that group. Many won't hold on to it or say, hey, I'm going to do this no matter what, which is what I did doing Blog Talk Radio for 5 years. Hey, I did it no matter what every Saturday morning. Now it's a little different dynamics because I'm not here at 10 a.m. and I'm concerned about, well, I'm not concerned about it, but I am not as, it's not as, I would like to be more on, but it takes a little more than it did then. So this is a different time, so it takes a little more. So I have to start a lot more earlier to prepare to be here at 10, you know. So I'm just gonna say, hey, Saturday mornings. I'll just say Saturday mornings. I'll be here for sure, and I'm gonna push for 10 each Saturday. Get your it together 2.1. I'm gonna push for every Saturday. Um, at 10 a.m. However, the inspiration hits differently, and it's not a timing. It's not about a specific time per se. You can't. It's more about how you move, how it moves you, how it moves through you, how you're able to capture that as it's moving. Because it's going like this. All energy is always moving. It's always moving. It's never sitting still. And when we align ourselves with a level of consciousness through a dimensional plane of reality for us in the moment, it's moving. It's not sitting there waiting on you to grab it. You got to grab it as it comes. And this is how, you know, this is the difference in where we are today. This is how the playing field has changed, you know. And so if you don't have a grasp on being able to see beyond what's right in front of you, because that's how many get played, you know. They look at the shiny thing, and then the thing the thing that really matters, or the that which is of importance, is you lose focus. So that's where your divinity comes in, and you lean on that. And we ain't talking about God now. I mean, let's be clear. I'm not talking about God, because there are many gods, and there's nothing wrong with you having a God. But just know that you was given something to replace that which is irreplaceable. You were given religion to try to replace a spirituality which is inconceivably nonsensical. We have to know these things. You can say God, that's fine. If you want to give credibility and credence to something outside of you, you know, that's an insult to the seat of the soul that you already are. You're the source that's connected to source. The you, me, we as one with the source of all. There's only one source, and it's of all, not just political terms saying, oh, we're for the people and we're for everybody, and however, I'm jealous. However, you know, don't ever have something else before. Source ain't got, that's not any necessity to have to beat somebody over the head with, you know, this me first. That's you know, and anything that we say, because the energy, frequency, and vibration, that's the bottom line. That's the language. And if you're saying something is superior, or if you're saying something that is of a higher caliber, then it has to be. If you're saying something is superior but it's not, you're deceiving yourself, as well as you're sending the wrong signals. And again, energy, frequency, and vibration, to say something is superior when it's not, and you know it's not. However, you go along because that's the term and that's what they use and that's what they say it is and blah, 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 blah. That's the problem, because you're deceptively allowing yourself to keep giving your subconscious or the sub particles that you already are. You're feeding the wrong messaging. Your energy is what is it? Confusion. You kind of you're confusing yourself in essence. To say something is supreme and you know it's not. To say something is, better because of a status or because it holds a level of importance to that which you've been given, not what you already have and what you already are, but because you don't remember what that is, you accept something that's been imposed or projected onto you, which is not yours. You have to re-embrace that which you are. And to do that, you have to let stuff go, stuff that don't mean nothing, that really ain't nothing. You have to come to terms with why am I holding on to this? Why am I lying to myself? You have to do the self work, the self-awareness. You have to go into dark places. And without the vision, if you're going to be myopic, or the myopia is turning inward, putting everything else aside and turning inward. This is that. Otherwise, you're going to continue being a cog in the wheel of your own self-destruction. And let me say this: you can destroy yourself. Can nobody destroy you? However, you can generate a perspective around the idea within yourself to hold you back. This is where we are. You have full autonomy over your being whole. And if you continue to allow yourself to let someone else determine what wholeness is, or what being the best is, or what doing your best is, without you actually doing it, going by what is told to you and following some kind of principle or some type of indoctrination process that says you got to do it this way or it won't work. That's on you. We are not here to follow each other as much as we're here to share with one another. And that's all I'm doing. I'm not looking for, it's nice, but that only satisfies the ego. Oh, I got 10,000 views or 10,000 hits or a million followers and all that. Yeah, but doing what? What does that do? Now, okay, now what? And so the whole idea is there is things that's happening that only a select few really can tune in, tune in, and turn up. Everybody don't have the ability. So it ain't for everybody to know everything on the surface level. Because many times all things are under the surface. It's that which you don't see. That which you have you ain't gonna see it on the news. When Gil Scott said back in I don't remember how long back it was, maybe the 70s, 60s, I'm not sure. But when Gil Scott Heron, musician, poet, said the revolution will not be televised, and he did a poem with it and talked about how it wouldn't be brought to you by Coke, and you wouldn't be able to clean your clothes, just kind of giving you various references to the commercials because it won't be televised. It's within. It's within. It's within. The revolution cannot and will not be televised because it's within. There's no cameras, although there's memory, and there's an Akashic record of you already made history, already, not history, but has a story. We all do. Everybody got a story to tell. Everybody's got a story to tell. And if you become fascinated with somebody else's story, just know that you're doing that for entertainment purposes only. That should not be how you want to live your life unless you are aligned with that in some way. But you are the author and the star and the field hand and the grip and the cameraman and the director and the producer, the executive producer. You're it. All of the props and all of the things that you need to paint the picture, to tell your story, you already have. You are lack of nothing. We are sources within the resource of the all that is source. That is bottom line. So the best way to really help in getting some type of clarity on what it is, how it is, and why it is, look at the difference. Look at a fraction versus a fractal. That's look up what a fractal is and look at what a fraction is. A fraction is a part of something. A fractal is a smaller scale of all of whatever it is that it represents. It's a mirror. It's a not a duplication, but it's a mirroring of the all. Everything that's contained is in a fractal, no matter how small or big it is. We are fractals of source, not God. Again, God is an anthropomorphic deity assigned to you by that which is less than, and not less than in the sense that it's not the highest of the frequencies. God is not the highest. That God is a frequency. And if you're going to speak to the all, for all that is the all of all that is all, that represents all that represents all that represents, then you would speak to source or something that's beyond an anthropomorphic deity, because an anthropomorphic deity only is expressed through characteristical traits of a physical being. It is not the expression of the all that is for everything. If we're talking, we're talking material, an idea of a material presence versus the perspective in an ethereal, conscious presence. It's a big difference. However, we've allowed ourselves to accept terms and idioms from low frequency individuals or low frequency entities, I should say. Because again, it's energy, frequency, and vibration, and all your All chakras are portals. All of the chakras that you have are portals to other worlds or other aspects of consciousness or levels of consciousness. You're able to access them through your chakras. And the entities that have developed the environment by which we are thriving in, and we do thrive in the, it is through the lowest chakra, through the lower chakra. We have the ability to process through all chakras from low to high, but we've allowed ourselves to um, function and sustain what level of limited and limiting understanding that we have coming from the base chakra or the lowest point. But the whole idea is to go from the low to the high. And you'll go back down and you'll go back up. It is a process. Again, this is a wave. This thing is never ending and it's a cycle. It cycles through, and each cycle that we get into or that we flow into or that flows through us, each cycle processes through our chakras differently. The portals that we are already going and coming based on who and what we already are. But the cycles, like you act differently in the winter than you do in the summer. You act differently when you're in the water versus on land. So there's cycles that we're in depending on the chakras or how we're processing through the chakras in alignment with the environment for whatever cycle we're in. That's how this thing works. And so you must be able to see, and you must be able to align yourself with the sight necessary to be balanced within the cycle that you're proceeding in. So it's about being present. It's about, it's not about competing and trying to be better than, and you can do all of that, but you got to know that that's what you're doing for entertainment purposes, or you're doing it for whatever reason you're doing it for. But you have to be aware. It's about being aware now. It's about having some self-awareness around the idea of what it is, how it works. Not what they said, how it's supposed to work. How does it work for you? This is where we are now, family. So, myopia is good. It's not a bad thing. It's just that how aware are you of your ability or inability to see beyond or see things for what they really are? Because that's what it's always going to come back to. We're in the cycle to know. And if you don't know and you're guessing, or you're saying you believe, you're only saying you believe because you don't know. And you're only saying you believe because you're not decided you're going to try to find out. Or you're not decided that you are going to allow yourself to know something, so it's easier to believe it because everybody else does. And that's the problem. You might not be like everybody else. You might not be, you're not everybody else. You're you. Your fingerprint says something distinctly distinguished about you. Now, it's interesting if you don't know what that is, but others can. They can see it, feel it, smell it, touch it, but you don't have a clue about it. That's a lack of awareness. That's the myopia, not being able to see, not seeing, not completely allowing yourself to have the vision to know. The vision comes from knowing because of the experience. You take what you've done and how you moved and what's been going on in your life and put that with the consciousness and then in the moment, this is what happens. You allow yourself to transcend whatever space you're in and allow yourself to draw from the aspects of the dimensions that has that level of consciousness through you. You don't do that if you're trying to align yourself with somebody else's perspective, ideas, thoughts, and what have you. So, love, family, once again, who I am is divine. What I am is divinity in motion. This is a voice of consciousness here with another edition of Get Your Head Together 2.1. We're doing this thing every week. I do a once a week pre-recording as well as, and you can find those listed on YouTube. It would be a voice of consciousness 4019. And if you want to share and you feel in a benevolent mood, the Cash App is Voice of C with a capital V and a capital C. So Voice of C, money sign, of course, prior, money sign, Voice of C. And once again, if you want to get some background, or a little more background on me or who I am or what I've been, some of the things that I've gone through, because it's impossible to put your whole life. I do have a website, and it's jhwentinc.com. All right. So once again, I will be here. Once again, we'll be here. We don't want to know nothing but how to lift and what it takes to realign and share perspectives on a high frequency. And I'm not giving a whole lot of different type of techniques and all of that, because you develop your own. If you're breathing through whatever the situation is, if you find yourself in something fearful and you're not breathing, pay attention to your breath. Always pay attention to your breath. If you're not taking deep breaths, then chances are you're shortchanging or not getting the full scope of what can be a resolution in that moment if you're not breathing. It's always about the breath. And because usually when you're heightened and really beyond, control to the extent you short breaths. You're not breathing deep, so you're not getting the fullness. It's a lot of technicalities to you, but you have to determine what they are. It's not for somebody to tell you how you need to do and practice this. We can do some things, and that would be something that if you're interested, I can do some of those things, but I wouldn't do them here. There would be something that if you want to contact me, 786-759-0180, 786-759-0180, 786-759-0180 for any type of support, or not any type of support, for high frequency support, for supporting in a vibrational, energetic way, as I am an energetic minister, a vibrational shaman. So yeah, 786-759-0180. Be more than happy to assist in sharing some techniques or some things that can but it all starts with a perspective. You have to want it. Nobody can inspire you to want it. Well, they can possibly inspire you to want it, but you've already had a desire for it, for you to be getting inspired to want it. See, everything starts with you. It doesn't come from outside. Nothing comes from outside. Everything is within you, and what's within you is being reflected. What you're seeing outside is a reflection of what you already are inside. And you, depending on how sincere and devoted and how serious you are about it, it shows up. This is how it works. So once again, I'm going to sign off. Love, love, love. And it's not about me loving you as much as I love me, and that love generates, and that says I love you. Peace.